I currently have more mosquito bites than the Cubs scored runs tonight. We talk about that and Jameson Taillon struggles next.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, alongside Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making us your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, like the video, and comment anything below. Today's episode is presented by our great partner at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Cubs lost to the Tigers on Wednesday, and we'll recap the game later. Right now, we're going to open the conversation on starting pitching for 2025. And really, it's Jameson Taillon's continued struggles on Wednesday, notwithstanding. We're going to try to make a case for starting pitching as a clear need for the 2025 season. I have Steele, Imanaga, and Taillon as the only locks. And even if you include Assad in there, you would want Taillon in the 4 spot and Assad as the 5. Wicks, Wisniewski, and Brown are all in the next tier of we've seen them, but they can't be counted on yet because of either experience or injury or both. And then you have somebody like Cade Horton in the next tier of excited, but still lots of questions, again, due to experience or injury or both. Sam, the Cubs will need to actively explore the starting pitching market this winter. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, agree. For the same reason they needed to actively pursue the hitters market this year, even though that was a strength. And look, this is a major league franchise in the city of Chicago. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You should be able to add a starting pitcher. You should be able to add a bat. You should be able to add a reliever in the offseason. It's not asking a lot. I think the point we're trying to make is I think a lot of people feel like starting pitching is a strength of this team, and it has been in 2024, but that doesn't mean it will be in 2025.
Exactly.
And I think the best example of it is the right-handed pitcher that threw tonight. He was not as bad as he was last season, but he surely isn't as good as he was for a large part of this season. And the numbers are starting to reflect that now. Too many mistakes, too hittable. I would label Jameson Taillon an average starting pitcher in baseball. He got above average starter money. Wasn't a good deal. Should the Cubs have traded him at the deadline? We don't know. They might have tried really hard. If you watched any of our shows, both of us were pounding the table for that to happen. It didn't. My guess is it didn't because people didn't think the juice was worth the squeeze in the value he may bring the next couple of months by paying him $18 million for the next 2 years. So as far as that goes, yes, they need to add a starter. Imanaga, do I think he'll be good next year? Yeah, but do I think there might be a dip? Sure. Justin Steele's pretty steady. I just made my points on Taillon. You guys know how I feel about Assad as a fixture in a rotation. How can you have one of your starters where, 80% of the time he's not getting through 5 innings? That's not a case. You mentioned about Wicks and Brown. I mean, those for me are purely injury related concerns. So yeah, they have to add a starter. Will it be a big splash like Corbin Burns, or will it be a depth guy? I don't know. But what the Cubs need to do a better job of is anticipating instead of reacting. So they need to anticipate that there's going to be some regression in the pitching, just like they failed to anticipate some of the offensive stuff going into this season. And I had somebody write me a note on Twitter today. I don't know how true it is. I think it sounds right, but he didn't source it. He said that if the Cubs scored the same amount of runs a game as they did last year, or the same amount, they would be like 20 something over, and their run differential would be 117. But it doesn't work like that. If things, you don't go, oh well, we were good this year, so we're good. We don't have to improve that. I mean, I say it all the time. It's my Portland Trailblazers Clyde Drexler analogy. Just because you have Clyde Drexler doesn't mean you draft Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan. You take the best guys. You try and improve your team. And the Cubs sure have a lot there to keep them busy.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that because the Cubs are actually now averaging for the season over 4 runs a game.
Maybe it was total runs, something like that. I don't know.
But, we know their problems with 0, 1, and 2 runs a game, obviously. This should not be a decision in my mind with the starting pitching. You need to find value somewhere here, and there are plenty of candidates that we'll get to in a minute. And there's plenty of candidates for 1 or 2 years. And yes, Corbin Burnes is out there and Max Fried, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And again, I'll get to that. You need to sign someone who can pitch at least 150 innings, and you need to build up your certainty, amongst all the uncertain depth you have. Yeah, it's nice to have depth. It's nice to be excited about Brown or Wicks or Horton or others. But aside from Steele, Imanaga, and Tyone, you really need to build up your surplus of people you could be certain about. And you already hinted at this, but please don't do during the 2025 season what you did this season with the offense. Hey, our offense was 6th in runs last year. We hope it gets back to that. No.
Right.
I could see it now. Hoyer's in the dugout in May. Hey, our starting pitching was 6th in ERA last year. We hope it gets back to that. No. By the way, those are real rankings. They were 6th in the majors in runs last year. They're 6th in the majors in starter ERA right now. That's really good. So what? You need to build more. You need to just add on. You can't be so passive like we've said time and time again. And I do think this is an appealing place for a pitcher. They have some credibility with infrastructure. You have a good defense behind you. Sam, anything to add before we get into targets?
The only thing I would add is just, I see people saying in the comments like, hey, they got bigger problems. They got bigger problems. We talk about the same problems every night. We know it's the offense. We're going to talk about the offense in the second segment.
Right.
We're just changing it up a little bit because I think tonight's a really good night with Jameson Tyone being bad once again. He's been bad, I believe now 4 of his last 5, to just remind people it's not even just that. They got to get better there. I don't have anything to add. I think both of us hit it on the head. It's the idea. It's anticipation versus reaction.
So I think Corbin Burnes and Max Fried are on the Cubs' radars, but I don't know if they want to do that. And I'm basing that off not opinion necessarily, but really just information and track record. Burnes, first of all, is a Scott Boras guy. He's going to be looking for at least 200 M's. He's already 30. Max Fried's already 30. He's going to look for at least 5 years, probably not close to 200 M's, but he's going to want a long-term deal. And both of these guys, there's some injury history. Fried especially only made 14 starts last year and also missed time this year. So I think the names out there for a 1 or 2 year deal to me that are good options. And I don't have a lot to extensive on this right now because it is still August 21st. But there's plenty of people, Luis Severino, Jack Flaherty, Alex Cobb. I think Shane Bieber and Walker Buehler are really intriguing 1 year deal guys who will be out 100%. For something to prove in 25.
Great 1 year deal guys. Basically, Flaherty was a 1 year deal guy, 1 year deal this year. So maybe he'll get, and he's been pretty decent.
And that's 5 pitchers. I mean, that's plenty on August 21st.
Yeah, I think there's a chance. I think there's a real chance with Burnes. I think we can get into it more in the offseason. There's a couple orange flags with him. One of them being that, his strikeouts per 9 is going down each and every year. And if you're going to invest that type of money in a pitcher, it's a little bit scary.
Yep.
But, there's risk reward with everything. They'll add a starter. They'll add a starter, maybe even 2. But
I hope so.
But it's just, it's disappointing. I'm really I was very disappointed that day when I got my wisdom tooth pulled on the trade deadline to find out that they couldn't have traded Tyone. And I'm not going to sit here and bash Jed because we don't know what the conversations were. What I can criticize Jed for is that was not a smart contract. This is not an $18 million a year pitcher. This is this is the type, like, this is like a 2 years, 20 type of pitcher, $10 million a year, right? That type of, like a Drew Smiley type contract. That's what Jameson Tyone is. He's had some good years, but he's never $18 million. I get it. It's inflation. I get pitching stuff. This isn't an $18 million a year pitcher. It's a nice pitcher. He's fine. Put him as your 4 starter. You feel pretty decent. Cubs need help a lot of places.
And that's why decisions like that carry so much weight, because you can make a case based on track record that because they were wrong on that decision, they're going to fret over a multi-year deal and just look for a 1 or 2 year deal with one of these dudes.
Domino effect.
By the way, Nathan Eovaldi could be a free agent, but he has a vesting option. I know we've heard that phrase a lot recently, that he's currently on pace to hit, since he is on pace to throw a combined 300 innings across this year and last. Must be nice. He's been effective as well. All right, coming up next, Cubs were big favorites when the line opened for Wednesday, and then it absolutely plummeted. And it turns out they got crushed. And we're going to recap that game next. Today's episode is brought to you by our brand new partners at Tonal. Tonal. For those of us who thrive on getting stuff done, including workouts, every minute counts. That's why you need Tonal, the smart strength training system that takes the guesswork out of working out so you can make sure you're making the most of every rep. When life gets busy, fitting in a workout can be stressful. With Tonal, you can get efficient workouts personalized just for you and are available with the amount of time you have. Tonal is the world's smartest and most effective strength training system that helps you get stronger. Powered by AI, Tonal learns with every rep so it can deliver workouts personalized just for you. Unlike traditional gym equipment, Tonal uses adaptive digital weight to advance your training techniques. And right now, Tonal is offering our listeners $200 off your Tonal purchase with promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Tonal.com, Tonal, and promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off your purchase. Tonal.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off. Cubs play the Tigers at 1:20 p.m. Central Thursday, as this week is, zooming by. You can hear every pitch of the Cubs hometown broadcast on SiriusXM by searching Cubs on the SXM app. Cubs lost 8-2 to the Tigers on Wednesday. Jameson Tyone did get hit around. Nate Pearson, Julian Merriweather, and Jack Neely worked out of the pen, with Neely allowing 4 runs in his major league debut. Christian Bethancourt started and completed the scoring with a 2-run homer in the 5th. There was some moments of leverage there in the 6th and 7th, but Nico Horner, Ian Happ, and Patrick Wisdom did not deliver in those at-bats. Sam?
Beautifully summarized, because a lot of people would say, hey, 8-2 is a blowout game, and factually it is. But right. Jack Neely doesn't make his debut if one of those guys, Horner, Happ, or Wisdom, deliver, right? Because you tie the baseball game, you go to your high-leverage guys. Yes. Thought but all 3 of their at-bats are worth talking about because it's the reason you lost the game. High-leverage ABs. Horner with a ground ball back to the pitcher. I could have headbutted the ball farther than that. I'm gonna talk about him in a trivia question with you in a second. So pause. Ian Happ has been hitting the ball really well right. He got a couple pitches to hit, swung right through him until he got rung up on a good changeup. And then Patrick Wisdom comes to the plate. Believe it or not, I actually didn't have a problem with pinch hitting for Bush in that spot because Bush really looked like he didn't have much of a chance tonight. Would have preferred Bodie, but we got Wisdom. Wisdom got his pitch. 2-1 changeup, middle. And for all the exit velo people out there, he crushed it. 105.7. The problem is he crushed it straight up in the air for a routine out, and that was the ball game. That's bad hitting. And now the Cubs have scored 2 runs or less once again. And I'd like to ask you this question, Matt. You ready for this? And this is from one of the great voices of Chicago sports, Mark Silverman, part of the Waddle and Sylvie show on ESPN 1000. Matt, I'm going to give you 2 players, okay? And I'm going to give you their slash line. You tell me who they are. Are you ready?
All right.
Player A is 2023 Chicago Cubs. Are you ready?
Okay, so last year.
Last year on the Cubs, 263, 311, and 352. Okay? Now, don't say it yet. Let me finish. Player B is 252, so a lower average in 2024. So the current member. Lower average, 321, higher on base. Lower slug, 345.
Yeah.
That's a current Cub. Who's player A? Who's player B?
I'm like 99% confident. I believe it's Dansby Swanson and Nico Horner.
It's Nick Madrigal.
What?
And Nico Horner.
I was wrong on the first one.
2023 2023 Nick Madrigal had a higher batting average and a higher slug than this version of Nico Horner. I'm gonna let that. Let's just let that sit. We do a lot of talking on the show. Let's just give it 2-3 Mississippi to sit. Ready and got it. Okay, so everybody out
That's
there,
horrible.
That's this version of Nico Horner, man.
Oh man, what?
You heard it here
and
first.
People were upset that we brought up his name the other day in trade situations. How are you going to change the offense, especially given so many guys that are going to return?
That Spider-Man,
like a clear spot to.
That Spider-Man gif, the Spider-Man gif where they're all pointing at each other.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Horner and Madrigal right now. I just want to say one thing. This is not a gambling podcast, but I just have to mention it. Boy, was that weird before the game. You and I were on the phone. We chatted about it. I believed I closed the call and said, I'll talk to you after this loss tonight.
Yeah.
Because it had nothing to do with the game. I was feeling confident until I saw the line just plummet. It closed at minus 125. And 10 minutes later, it's 4-0 Detroit.
Yeah.
So,
no, it wasn't good.
And the only runs, like you said, came from their 4th choice catcher. This team really doesn't have much of a chance consistently offensively when Bush, Suzuki, Bellinger, and Happ aren't all, they're quiet. It just is what it is. I know Suzuki got a couple hits today, but it's still not close to where he was at just about a month ago.
How many extra base hits this month again?
So since August 2nd, he has 1 extra base hit, a triple in Cleveland. He had a homer and a double to start the month of August, August 1st and August 2nd, and he has 1 since.
Okay, so three total.
So that's just not going to do it, especially when the offense is kind of built around him and Bellinger and these guys. I mean, I think the bottom of the order has been fine for quite a bit now. Amaya's turned it around. Bethancourt gave you a punch. PCA's been at least an asset offensively and has helped you out. But, the problem is it's just not good enough, especially in leverage. And today's game was particularly boring.
Wow. Well, we've said that a lot this year. 3 other notes here, and I suppose threes are wild. Cubs won 3 challenges in this game.
Happy birthday to Craig Counsell, by the way, 54.
Happy birthday to Craig Counsell. Nate Pearson, Sam, last 3 appearances, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts.
Haven't been too impressed with him until tonight.
Yeah, nothing crazy, but definitely improvement is happening.
When you were at the ball game Saturday, he should have given up a grand slam. He got some help from the win.
Yeah, he allowed a couple long outs.
But he was better. He was good tonight. He was good tonight. That was probably the biggest positive of the night. He was good.
Thursday preview, which I thought was Wednesday tomorrow, but it's Thursday already. Justin Steele versus TBD as the Tigers were likely use an opener for the 3rd straight contest.
Matt, can I ask you a question?
It's a bad take.
Go ahead.
Going into 2000, and I'm not, please don't get angry at me, folks. I'm not trying to start anything. I'm just asking a smart baseball mind a question. That's all I'm doing. as we head into 2025, where's your panic level on a scale 1 to 10 on Isaac Paredes?
Oh, right now I'd say it's low.
Okay. Okay.
Panic level, I would say 3.
Okay, yeah, I'm at about a 3 as well, for sure. But it's been. I just want to, I really have kind of lately, because the Cubs are obviously not playing competitive baseball in terms of the playoffs. I've really been diving into the realm of stats. I don't know if you've noticed this about me lately, but I've been looking up stuff. I've been researching stuff. Like today, I thought I broke a really cool stat until Nico Hoerner's leadoff base hit. I believe in the 5th or 6th inning, whenever it was, the Cubs hadn't had a leadoff man on in like 24 straight innings.
But let's check back in not that long from now, maybe even just like a week from today on Paredes.
Okay, so we're just going to leave it.
Yeah, let's check in on a week from today.
Well, can I just share his August batting average coming into tonight?
Well, let me guess it.
Sure.
His August batting average. So July was 1 something.
So his batting average in July
was 120, right?
Was 136.
Okay, I'm going to say August is similar, like 146.
Yeah, coming into tonight, which I believe was another. Oh no, he got a hit tonight. Coming into tonight, he's batting 127 in August.
Oh, so worse than July.
So that's like 2 months of hitting like a pitcher. It's just a little. I just think.
Yeah, it's concerning.
And it's not even the fact that it's concerning, because he's a fast starter. I think he'll be fine in 25. I just think it's newsworthy. Is that fair?
Oh, definitely.
I mean, you're talking about a guy that had
it's notable.
He had an OP. He was an all-star and
Yeah.
had an OPS in the high 8s. And the months of July and August, he's batting 132.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, I would say it's fair to say it's a concern. So
I just think it's newsworthy, but you don't hear about.
Well, it's
this
definitely
stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely.
You just hear about
newsworthy. Noteworthy.
Other stuff on the show on the broadcast.
Ah, yes. Well, let's do a media report card in October. Maybe tie up some loose ends there.
Whenever you're ready, my friend.
Sounds good. All right, coming up next, third segment. We've kind of been switching it up lately a little bit. I just have some August trade trivia for you.
Oh, more trivia.
This player's name actually got brought up this week already.
I got made fun of yesterday. I didn't do a great job.
Stay tuned. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trade, supplyhouse.com, one of our great sponsors here on the show. Supply House is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts, over 400 top brands, and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the biz and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining supplyhouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks of a button. Supplyhouse.com.
This episode is also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. The experience of searching for and then buying tickets on Game Time is simple. Plus, Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy. If you bought tickets for today's game, maybe you tried to buy a seat with an obstructed view. So you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
All right, before we wrap up this episode here on a Wednesday for Thursday show.
You can't laugh. I'm going to laugh in the air.
August 17th, 2003.
Oh, gosh.
The Cubs made this trade with a division team.
Well, 03 was Pirate. Was it Randall Simon?
Yes. Cubs made a blockbuster deal about
How did they do
a month
that?
before.
How did they do that?
And at the non-waiver trade deadline, or excuse me, the waiver deadline, they then added Randall Simon, who batted .282 with 6 homers and 21 runs batted in 33 games down the stretch. Most people think that was one trade, Sam.
And what?
It was
Wait.
2 trades.
And by the way, I'm one of those people.
Right.
I just figured if they made a trade with Pittsburgh, I think Lofton Aramis, so he was just the process of elimination. I was one of those people.
Yes, I wanted to share that. Randall Simon, nice lefty bat down the stretch.
A good pinch hitter.
Too bad the Cubs aren't in a position where we're talking about them down the stretch. Instead, we have the 2025 glasses on.
Do you remember? I believe it was 08. I could be wrong. Maybe 07.
Okay,
one of those two who kind of played that Randall Simon role as a pinch hitter off the bench, did really good things. Do you remember that name?
Was it Doug Lanville?
No, close. Doug Lanville was part of the 03 team, hit a triple, I believe, in game 4 of the NLCS to win that game. But it starts with a D. It's tough. His initials are DW.
All right. Daryl Ward.
Correct. I can't remember if he was 07 or 08.
Wow. That was a August deal.
No, it wasn't an August deal.
Oh.
I was just saying he was just a good, really similarly good pinch hitter, like Randall Simon was.
Yeah.
He was like
I remember him.
He was like famous for being a good pinch hitter.
Yeah. Well, the Cubs were speaking of trades, that was a good pull with Daryl Ward.
Because Randall Simon on that 03 team, he mostly came off the bench, didn't he?
I thought so, yeah.
Okay.
Did the Cubs get Jason Kendall from the Pirates, or was that from the A's?
I should know the answer to this. Please look that up. I think it was from the A's.
Let me see.
I think they got him from Oakland. And but it was before. It was what, like
I want to look up this trade.
I remember being at Wrigley when he played too.
July 16th, 07.
07
for Jerry Blevins.
From Oakland?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Oakland. I was gonna say 06.
All right, well, we'll be back Thursday for Friday. Cubs Tigers recap, Cubs Marlins preview, and then I believe some Farm Friday stuff as well.
And it's going to be Justin Steele versus who for Thursday?
TBA again.
Got it.
So that's great. Cubs are minus 210 favorites to open on FanDuel.
No, they'll win that. They'll win that game tomorrow. They'll win that series.
But
guess what's not good enough? 2 out of 3.
This edition. Book said it was.
Yeah, well, that, by the way,
at the end of the broadcast.
No, and by the way, if they
signed through 2026,
if they play 66% baseball 2 out of 3 the rest of the way, that takes them to like 85 wins. It's going to take at least 87. So it's not correct.
You give us 20 to 30 minutes. We'll give you all things Cubs with a laugh or two along the way. Next time, don't go 22 and 39 for 61 games. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube, smash the like button for the algorithm, and leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcast. Can we get an obvious shirt made? Don't go 22 and 39 for 61 games.
Randall Simon platoon with Eric Karros.
That's a good platoon.
Yeah. Shout out to Troy.
He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
It's a bad take.